Hey everybody, Black Ninja 797 here, and welcome back to another episode of Myth Busting Mondays. And for the final myth, guys, this one's a doozy, but definitely is very creative. It is going to be, can you stop objects that are thrown or launched by the tank with a grenade launcher? If I were to shoot a grenade launcher at a object, like let's say, I don't know, a dumpster, would the dumpster stop in its tracks? That is basically going to be the final myth of today's episode. If you guys end up enjoying today's episode, please also drop a like to show your guys' support. And there's a particular myth that you would like to have be featured in next week's episode, just please put it in the comment section down below. But yeah, guys, let's get on with this week's episode of Myth Busting Mondays. Myth: can you cut a smoker's tongue by closing elevator doors on it? Okay guys, so to start off the episode, the very first myth is submitted in by Tyler, and we are going to be testing this myth by going on to Dead Center. And as you guys can see, Glabersko gets grabbed by the smoker, and we barely save him just in the nick of time, but once the elevator door is closed, he is free, which means that this first myth of today's episode is confirmed. You can cut a smoker's tongue by closing an elevator door on it, so if you were one lucky son of a bitch, you can end up saving your teammate this way. Myth: can you spawn in Left 4 Dead 2 exclusive content in the Left 4 Dead 1 Classic Mutation mode? Okay guys, so for myth number 2, this is going to be submitted in by Zoe, and as you guys can see here, we click the Classic Left 4 Dead 1 game mode that you can end up getting in the Mutations playlist, and now we're going to launch it here on No Mercy. Now the main thing that was going to be make it or break it for this myth was whether or not that our mods could work on this game mode, and luckily they can. Because in Left 4 Dead 2, you can only end up using mods on a legitimate server in certain playlists, and most notably, those are going to end up being mainly campaign and survival mode, but it does look like that some select mutations work, including this one, because immediately, as you guys can see, we have a jockey, a charger, and also a spitter that is spawned in, which means that we can spawn in all the Left 4 Dead 2 special infected, which would also mean that it would be a given that you can spawn in the Left 4 Dead 2 special equipment, guns, etc. So that means that myth 2 is also confirmed. You can end up indeed spawning in Left 4 Dead 2 exclusive content in the Left 4 Dead 1 Classic mode, although I don't know exactly why you would do this because it would be kind of defeating the purpose unless you were just simply just trying to avoid the Left 4 Dead 2 specials. But then again though, if you were trying to avoid something like the jockey, I would understand. Myth: can you kill a group of crows in Left 4 Dead 2? Alrighty guys, now myth number 3 is submitted in by Glabersko. So in Left 4 Dead 2, the crows are annoying, but unfortunately, unlike in Back 4 Blood, you cannot kill them traditionally, because they're always in spots that are like either unreachable, or you can't see them, or just normal guns don't work. So we're going to give ourselves the best odds. Me and Tyler have a unlimited ammo grenade launcher, and we're going to go to the main spot where you can have the best chance of getting them, which is on the second chapter, the Sacrifice. And we're just going to lay into them. We're just going to spam grenade launcher after grenade launcher shot, and we're going to see if whether or not that they still trigger. So I'm here, and I don't see anything, but it looks like that they had a delayed reaction. Instead, I was wrong, and they did indeed get startled. Which means that the third myth of today's episode is busted. You can't kill the crows in Left 4 Dead, sadly, but at least now we know. Myth: can a smoker grab you through the merry-go-round on Dark Carnival? Okay guys, myth number 4 is submitted in by a True Winner 1, so thank you True Winner 1, I appreciate you for submitting in another myth again my way. And so yeah guys, we're just going to do this, we're just going to go to the Dark Carnival merry-go-round on chapter 2, and I'm going to be using console commands to spawn in a smoker. And now that I think about it, there might be a chance that this works just because of the way that the fence is designed. It does have holes, and hypothetically, the smoker's tongue could be able to figure out a way through them. So let's just see and give it a chance. Okay, so I'm spawning in a smoker right about here. I would say this would probably be a pretty fair spot for it. And now I'm just going to back up and see if he can get me. So, hello, smoker. And, oh, yep, he definitely grabbed you. Yeah, he actually grabs you pretty well. I mean, he didn't even have a problem with trying to get me. So yeah, this is easily confirmed. The smoker does indeed have the ability to reach you through the fence on the merry-go-round on Dark Carnival. I'm curious if other special infected can do that. Alrighty guys, we are already on to the final myth, and once again it is going to be, can you stop a flying object that is thrown or launched by a tank using your grenade launcher? So let's go over to the final myth and see what we can do. Myth: can you stop an object that is launched by a tank by using your grenade launcher? Okay guys, the last myth of the episode is going to be submitted in by JJ Lipscomb, so we are going to be testing this on the finale of Dark Carnival, and what we're going to do is that one at a time we are going to spawn in different things that I know that the tank can launch, such as cars, forklifts, etc., etc. And we're just going to be having it where when we spawn them in, we're just going to be standing in the line of fire and just shoot a unlimited round grenade launcher at it, just to see if whether or not that the thing will stop in place, fling backwards, completely ignore it, and just hit us anyways. One of those three options. So we're going to spawn in a tank very shortly and see what this final myth is all about. Okay, so here's the first thing. This is going to end up being a car. So Tyler is going to spawn in a tank, and as you guys can see, when I hit it with a grenade launcher, the car just completely flies past me. It doesn't necessarily hit me, but I can't get it to move. Now this is a tricky one. This is going to be the forklift that spawns in the finale. That's why we picked this, is because there's just some objects we can't spawn in, but we can only find. And this one was very difficult to do because we had to get the tank to line up in just a specific spot for us, because initial spawns do not put it in a favorable location for us. But finally, after getting in the right spot that we needed after messing around with a few other tanks, we're going to be spawning in a new one. So as you guys can see, here comes the tank, and I clearly shoot the forklift, but it does not stop whatsoever. It didn't even slow down. It just completely hit me in the face. So the forklift is also going to end up being a no. And now moving on to a slightly different map so we can get a dumpster. We're on the streets of Dead Center, and for a dumpster, we really weren't able to stop it. It was mostly just the trajectory. The tank mostly was just hitting it in a direction that made it hit the street pole, and that's mostly why it stopped. So you're probably thinking to yourself that there's nothing left to test so that this myth would end up being busted, but what if I were to tell you that we're not quite done yet? This may be very hard to see, but I want to go back to the Dark Carnival gameplay for a second. Take a look at this tank rock. It might have been hard to see because of how far away it was, but let me show it to you again in slow motion. You can't really see it that well unless you're really looking for it, but when a tank rock was coming my way, I just so happened to shoot it out of instinct, and you can see that the tank rock flung backwards, and it's quite obvious once you notice it. Now, I have never had this happen in my entire time playing Left 4 Dead. The rocks have never ended up flinging backwards on me. They always just got destroyed. And we had nothing on mod-wise that would make it so that way the tank rock just wouldn't break when it was damaged by something. So I am honestly surprised that this happened. This very well could have been just a stroke of luck with the way that the grenade launcher physics work. I mean, why is it that, for example, when we shoot a player, we can fling them and they can end up corpse launching versus just exploding on direct impact? So if it wasn't for me catching this, I absolutely would have called the final myth as busted. But because that this happened, I have to now at the very least label the myth at plausible. I can't explain why or how that this works, but it is something that I thought would at least show you guys so that way we as a community can decipher this and maybe test this on our own free time and see if maybe that there's something in the game that we still not noticed to this day. But yeah, guys, that is going to be it here for today's episode of Myth Busting Mondays, and I do truly hope you guys ended up enjoying it. If you did, please consider dropping a like, comment, subscribe, follow, and all that beautiful stuff. And I just want to give a really quick shout out to all of you guys that have been supporting the videos as of late. And thank you also for 3.7 thousand subscribers. That's just incredible to me, and it just makes me very, very happy that all of you enjoy my content that much. And it wouldn't be possible without the help of you. So this video can get anywhere remotely close to the amount of support that the last two episodes have had. I would be eternally grateful. But yeah, guys, I hope you did end up enjoying. If you guys would also like to financially support the channel, I would tremendously appreciate if you guys could go check out my Patreon. It is always linked down below in all my YouTube video descriptions. Please also use my supporter creator code BlackNinja797 in all caps in the Fortnite and Epic Games item shops, because Epic is my very first sponsor and they are sponsoring today's video. So shout out to Epic Games. But yeah, guys, I hope you end up enjoying seeing another YouTube video from the most unique YouTubers are ever going to see. Thanks for watching, guys. I love all of you, and peace out.
Hey meme lords, Jesus here, and you better have enjoyed that video there by the eternal god Daddy Ninja. You should probably subscribe too, or the mighty Moab will come for your balls. If you enjoyed the video, you might like it too, and give me the memes. Flash, bang, boom!
So we can feed it. I don't. I'm not think. Really? I don't.
Yeah, it fits. It's fine. Look.
Not fitting though.
That's what she said!